Hey guys, welcome to Manifesting Better. I'm back with another video and another topic that needs to be addressed. I also have an Instagram account, the link for that is in the description box below. Coaching is also available, the link for that too is in the description box below. Hey guys, hope you're well. So I'm back with another success story and I know how much you all love it. And I will explain this one in detail as I do all the ones. I got an email after I shared like a newsletter that, hey Karan, I actually just kept listening to your success stories and reading your success stories on YouTube and Instagram, and I have gotten my success from that. Please, like the reason that I share these success stories here is that for someone who cannot afford coaching, one-on-one coaching, and wants to actually learn, there is countless knowledge here. So I think on YouTube I have 20 plus success stories, and on Instagram I have 12 success story highlights. So go learn from them. You will absolutely learn a lot of it and probably will actually have some good benefits in your situation too. Okay, so I will first start by reading the success story. Before reading the success story, I have a note. I'm only sharing bits of this conversation as the client has only allowed me to share some information because of confidentiality purpose, and that's perfectly fine. And I am also not considering this the full success because for me, there are miles to go before I'm actually satisfied with this person's progress, because she did not come from a great place, but she has absolutely evolved immensely. So I would absolutely want more, but of course, a success is a success. So I will start by reading the success story. So the last time I talked with you, I was upset at the fact that I wasn't able to recreate him or wasn't able to let go of the old story. Then you pointed out that I might be expecting too much too soon, as we have just gotten back into contact with each other after months in silence, that there are still miles to go to get the full manifestation, and I took that advice. So as I told you that I was a bit sick, and I told him the same. So I was expecting him to at least ask me how I was doing in the next few days. It was you who made me realize what mistakes I was making in expecting that. Not only he did not check on me, he again went on not calling and texting for about 10 to 15 days. But days went by and there was pure silence. That is where I got in touch with you and you explained everything. So this is a recurring client. So just so that this makes sense. So exactly 2 weeks after that, he video called me out of the blue and I reluctantly picked up the call. Since I was in the middle of the road, I told him that I would call him back later, which I didn't, and then she later told me that I didn't because I forgot. She said he immediately called me after and asked me how I was doing. And after that, he apologized in his words and said something that was very, very unexpected. And then she shared a screenshot with me, which I of course cannot share here, neither can I tell you the content of it, but you will understand it as I read the next part. She says, never for once I thought that our conversation would end like this. And as you know what, since that we have been having calls almost every day in spite of the distance and the time zone. They are in a slight long distance situation. He never did that since he moved to, I cannot name the place. I even asked him if he can define our relationship. He said, of course, he's my boyfriend. He even told me all these 7 months he never thought of anyone else. Even if someone would ask him about his relationship status, he would say he has someone back in India. Even that I am here in my hometown now, he pings me every day with cute texts. I am going for a trip with my family starting tomorrow. He even called me yesterday night thinking that we are going to start today to wish me a good journey and get some information on the journey as we are traveling to the place that I again cannot name by road. These things haven't happened in years, Karan. I was so firm in my decision of setting boundaries that I didn't think that the conversation would lead to him reaching out to me every day. And while I was being strict here, there was not a shred of fear in me. I'm so thankful for you, Karan. That's amazing. I absolutely loved this success story. So let's get into like understanding the whole situation. First, we will understand what her situation was before, then we will understand what exactly happened, what we worked on, and how we got into this place. So this was a couple, they were on and off together. They were in a long distance scenario, but this wasn't a full relationship. In fact, they had actually never labeled their relationship. I will get to this part in a bit. So how the situation with them was is that they were kind of together, but the communication was not much. They were back and forth. They used to text each other back at 5 to 6 to 7 days. And she was the one initiating most of the conversations, and the conversation from his end was very dry. What had happened is that in this situation, she had gotten into the concept of manifestation. And because the content available is very general, a lot of times we can connect things to our situation which aren't connected to our situation. So what she understood from this is that, okay, we are in this situation and it's totally fine if I keep settling right now. That's fine, and I will just keep focusing on my manifestation routines and techniques, and somehow some way he will just start to confirm or things will start to get better. That is what her situation was. They did not have any labels, so they were not like, they were never in a said out boyfriend and girlfriend commitment. They just were in a situation where they were like, she was assuming that we are together. So when we first started working together, and this client and me, we have been working together for a long time. In the middle she took a break, and then because she was already getting movement, and then she came back because she wanted some help. The first thing that happened was, and this was, I think this was one of those clients, when we first had a session, in my mind I did not think that we would work out, because I am a very honest person and I tell you the situation as it is, right? I don't sugarcoat it. I just am very upfront and open about that. Hey, this is happening, these are the things that you are doing wrong, and these are the options that you have and the steps that you have to take. Are these options difficult? Definitely. Will they have to be taken? Definitely. So of course you have options, but you still will have to pick one option and to follow through with it. So the first thing I mentioned to her was that it doesn't seem like you are in a relationship right now, and you are not, like, what you are calling living in the end is actually not living in the end, because what is happening is, under the pretense and the name of living in the end, you are settling, and you're calling you're calling this a relationship when there are no labels. And if you call and tell this person right now that, hey, why aren't you calling me, he, based on the relationship status in the current moment, isn't liable to respond back to you and tell you that I will, because you guys are not together, right? You are not his girlfriend in this moment. You are assuming that in your mind, but that's just like assuming that I will get the salary from a company that I'm manifesting a job from. We are in the interviewing process, but then I get mad about the fact that they aren't sending me my salary, but I still haven't received the job offer letter yet, right? And I call them and I complain to them about it. I think this is the exact example that I gave her. And honestly, first she took a one-off session, and then she wasn't willing to accept this. So she slightly got defensive, and I know that she must be hearing this, but she got defensive towards this, that no, you know what, no, this is a relationship. No, we are together. I'm not willing to accept this. How you are, like, I am not so delusional and everything. And I kindly told her that, okay, this is my opinion. If you can get help from somewhere else, definitely go for it. And I think she tried. It didn't really work out for her, but then she came back, and that is when she took for went for a longer format of coaching. This is where things started to change. Now she understood what I'm talking about, and she finally came to terms with the fact that, yeah, like, he's actually talking about it in a right way. And the whole situation was that I was fighting her to tell her that you deserve more, right? That shouldn't be the case eventually. Of course, it might be at the start, but it should be me and you versus your insecurities and your circumstances, not me versus you to tell you that you deserve more. Because eventually, I am a coach, right? My job is to be there for you and tell you what is happening. If you are okay with the kind of treatment, then that's fine. Like, my standards of success and your standards of success can be very different, and that's okay. But for me, I did not think that her standards of success were so low, and eventually she accepted that. So she comes from a background where her mom and her don't really have a great relationship, and they have had these scenarios where they used to go in no contact situations a lot, right? And based on this, because she was always in the sympathetic nervous system zone, she was consistently, like, her anxiety and triggers were consistently activated. Because of this, she was also facing health issues, skin issues, hair issues, gut issues, which is very common. She had triggered some IBS symptoms, which is very common with people with anxiety. I also have IBS, like, it got common because, like, mine got triggered because of anxiety too. And it used to, be very triggering when I used to go to the doctor and he used to tell me that, oh, you know what, you don't have anything, you just have stress. And I couldn't realize what does he mean I have stress? I don't have any stress. But as I evolved, I understood, and now, like, we also talked about that. I also helped her with that. But after she got into that place, we worked on a few things. So first, we worked on having a conversation with this person. I have a video on why it's okay to walk away in the 3D, which I will link it down below. So after this, you can check that out, where I discuss when it's okay to create a boundary and why it's okay to actually create one. So she actually communicated this to him that, hey, I think I want more. And one thing about boundaries that you have to understand is, you don't put boundaries to make something happen. You put boundaries because you feel like I'm settling for less. The boundaries are for you. It's not to manipulate. Boundaries are not put so that you can make the other person do certain things that you want them to do. Boundaries are put because you want to stand up for yourself and your self concept, right? So boundaries are for you. It's not for the other person. Once we worked on that and we understood, like, she started working on it from there, we got into a better place. And then they went into no contact. While they were in no contact, I think it went on for 7 months. And in this no contact period, we worked a lot on her boundaries, her understanding of relationships, her understanding of what love means, how relationships should be, what manifestation truly is, what self concept truly is. Like, it was a detailed set of work. And we also worked a lot on forgiveness and inner child work. Now, when I say inner child work, a lot of people say that, you know what, Karan, I did not have any traumatic events in my childhood. Trauma doesn't really have to come from very large traumatic events. Like having some large things that you know that, oh, of course, if this happened with this person, they would have some trauma. Let's say infidelity in the family. Understood, right? Trauma can also come from small places which we sometimes don't even realize, right? For example, let's say my mom always left me at home, and didn't happen to me, I'm just giving you an example. Let's say my mom left me at home and she didn't come back from work, and I was always alone, playing alone, and I had a nanny who was helping me with it, or I was always consistently with someone who was babysitting me. That's okay. It's not the mom's fault if she's a working person, but I can develop abandonment issues in relation to that because I don't have someone secure around me to latch on to, because when I do, that person leaves. So trauma can also be developed in these small places. Now, if you don't have it, don't create it, right? If you are in that position, don't create it for yourself. If you would have it, you would be able to see it in your current life in some way, shape, or form. Then we worked on a lot of understanding on how to communicate boundaries, because that is one of her issues, that she did not know how to communicate these boundaries without sounding rude. Because yes, if I know it might sound unbelievable, but there is a way to put boundaries without being rude to the other person, which is what we focused on and which is what we did. After that, she got into contact with this person, and this person, of course, this time she asked him, like, what's our relationship status? And if you see, two things in her messages that she said that will really stand out to you. The first thing that she said in one of her messages was that even though, like, at that time he was not calling and texting me, I was not the one reaching out consistently. So a lot of times people receive a little movement and they get very attached to the movement and they start to try to make things happen. But movement doesn't necessarily mean that like, once I receive movement, that doesn't mean that it will be linear. Sometimes it can be back and forth, but it's very important to stick firm on the things that got you into that place in the first time, right? So that's something very important to look at. And the second thing that we actually talked about here was that she was expecting something too far too soon. Now what this means is, they were in no contact for a while and then they got back in contact. But then as soon as they got back into the contact, she was thinking that the relationship will again start exactly from where it ended. But that's not possible in linear ways, because you still want to build that dynamic with that person, right? You still also, from your end too, it's not just from their end, from your end too, you want to be in a place where you evolve through the relationship. You're wanting to build a new dynamic, even if it's with the same person, but that builds over time, right? You just don't want to jump into something just because you have had this desire for a while. And another thing is, she actually forgot to call him back. That was not because it was not important, but because she had so many things going on in her life that she actually forgot. That's absolutely amazing. So after this movement, she's still working on herself. She's still putting up consistent boundaries. Now they are in a relationship. Now we are focusing on the long distance part and the things getting better. But yeah, absolutely amazing result, because she did not come from a good place. And I know that if you apply yourself, you are going to be in a similar position as her. So yeah, I wish you all the best. If you want one-on-one coaching, you can reach out to me through my website contact. I don't respond to questions there because I get a lot of them. So I only respond to coaching queries there and even on my DMs. And another thing is, if you cannot afford coaching, definitely go through these success stories. There is so much information here. I post 3 videos a week. That's a lot of information. I have more than around 350 videos here. You can take that information in and apply it for yourself. So you have the commodity of time with you. So I hope you have a good day and I wish you the best, and I will see you guys in the next one. Click the like button if you liked the video. Subscribe and turn the notifications on for more such content. Comment down your video suggestions and I will see you guys in the next one.